So we've had consistently every single time we get on a podcast for like the last 5 weeks, a major Drew Lock blow up. Like every single time. Can't get away from it. So my big question, I know everybody knows where I stand. I know where Glenn stands. I know where 6'10" stands. Chris, where do you stand on Drew Lock, or where have you stood on Drew Lock throughout the season? Are you the Drew Lock apologist or the give up on Drew Lock crew?
It's going to sound wishy-washy. I'm neither, because the kids growing still. I know this is his second season, but technically this is coming up on his 16th game. A lot of the times they do well the first few games, like we saw with Locke, a 4-1 start, and then something happened that most quarterbacks don't have when they have a full season. There was a break in the season. You can't say the what do we call it, the nasty hit. And
dude, you can call it whatever you want. We don't get paid for nothing.
I don't know what you
I call it the beer bug.
The beer bug. All right. Yeah. So that hit. So he didn't.
Nasty works too, though.
That hit. Didn't have an off season. Had a new OC come in, and so now he's flipping the game again. And so now he's starting from scratch, even after those first 5. And then he's trying to figure it out again. Gets hurt again. Comes back in. So I don't know who he is right now because of all these the transitions and because of the ups and downs. I see potential though. This game showed potential. Seeing that he has finally learned, and it took a couple games, but we see a ceiling there. We just got to rise that floor up because it is there. But I want consistency to see really where I stand with them. I do believe I always back the quarterback, but I think it's still too soon to find out who we have in Locke.
Yeah, and it even like it seems like the people that have been just against Drew Lock no matter what have just been under fire. Like either they're under fire for one thing, or the people that love Drew Lock are under fire for something. And now that there's a win under Drew Lock's belt where he had a good game, everyone seems to be going towards he was amazing. He can be a great quarterback. And I'm sitting here like, whoa, like he had a good game. I won't take that away from him. It was a good game. But at the same time,
you can't
like
take it away from him.
One good game does not erase 12 pieces of crap. Like, I understand you had a good game, but one game doesn't make you the future franchise quarterback. It shows progress, which is what we wanted. All we wanted was to see progress. And as long as you continue to do that, I think you're fine. And, like, I'm not expecting Drew Lock to go out there and throw 300 yards, 4 touchdowns a game. But, like, if he could go out there and I would say realistically average 260, 275 a game, maybe 1 to 2 touchdowns, and then an interception every other game. You're looking at, 4,000 yard season, 32 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, which I think is realistic. I don't think that's too out there. So it's just, same thing we said in the last podcast. So they're either going way that way or way that way. Like, he's at least bought himself the first 4 games of next season. But we do need to bring in another quarterback to back him up that's better than a Brett Rippon, so that just in case something happens, whether he's injured, no. I think that the only reason Driscoll's still there is because they're paying him more than everybody, except maybe he's making more than Drew Lock, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Driscoll, he's the highest paid quarterback on the team right now, right?
Yeah,
Mike, you'll be happy to know that the Athletic beat writer made his predictions for the 2021, even including like the top 2 draft choices and who they'd bring in. And he had Ryan Fitzpatrick as the backup.
Yeah!
So you're happy to know that.
I love Fitzpatrick. Well, that's the thing. Like I understand going after a draft pick. I get it. But at the same time, then you're bringing in a rookie quarterback on coaches that everybody's been complaining can't develop a quarterback. So why wouldn't you go after that veteran and then not go after someone that's going to replace Drew Lock, but someone that can come in and help teach Drew Lock, kind of like Rippon's been doing, but can step in if something were to happen, whether he gets injured or he completely bombs in the first 4 games of next season, something. So
like
don't
those
replace him.
Types like a Joe Flacco.
Yeah. No. Not Flacco. Yeah, Flacco's available. Let's go get him.
Yeah, bring him back.
But no, and during the Panthers game, there was a lot of things that were good. Like I do blame him for the fumble. I don't blame him for the sack. The sack was not on him.
No.
But the fumble's on him. Just like the fumble would be, I'd blame it on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see them coming, you got to tuck the ball. And I know he tried, but a fumble's a fumble. Like, if you don't blame Drew Lock for that fumble, then you can't blame Melvin Gordon for his fumble. Like,
I agree with you. That fumble was on the quarterback. If it was a hit from behind, that's a totally different thing. And I agree with everything you said, Chris. The fact that he got hurt in week 2 against the Steelers game was a huge setback for him. The fact that he couldn't play against the Saints because of a technicality was also a bit of a setback, and it just hurt. It's hurting his development. It's almost as bad as last season when he was on injured reserve longer than he should have been, because if he hadn't been put on IR in the first place, we probably could have seen Drew Lock halfway through the season instead of enduring 7-8 games of an older version of Joe Flacco. So, development is key. And, some quarterbacks make it in huge strides. Other quarterbacks, they're roller coasters. They'll have 3 bad games, 1 good game, just up and down, up and down. But unfortunately, the meta for quarterbacks around this, I want to say century, but around this era, I guess I should say, like I said before in other podcasts, that bar has been set by Patrick Mahomes. Every team wants a quarterback to be the next Mahomes, to come out, cylinders firing and throwing for God knows how many yards and being, NFL MVP. And, it's a great idea to have. But, can you really count on Trevor Lawrence next season coming in for the Jets and doing that? Can you really count on Justin Fields coming in for, I don't know, Jacksonville, let's say, and being that? Unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes has been the measuring stick for all rookie quarterbacks. And if you don't even get near him or second best to Lamar Jackson, then, people start calling you a bust or, you just they don't have it. And it just starts to go the other way. And for Drew Lock, I'll also take what Mike said. I think that Mike is right in terms of he could probably get maybe a quarter of a season next year if he continues to play bad and he doesn't have somebody in his ear coaching him or telling him, hey, you have to, clean this up and fix this, whereas Denver's forced to move away. And it's also a huge gamble on John Elway because John Elway is going into his last year of his contract. So, if John Elway is not back with the team in 2022, then more than likely for sure, if Drew Lock does not impress, he won't be on this team by then.